Hello, my favourite fabulous examples of gorgeousness. Lesley, not quite enough. Goodness only knows. Actually, I've just realised if I go like that with my cardigan, I'll just be a floating head against the... No, let's not do that. How are we all? Firstly, thank you for your patience and concern last week when I didn't vlog. I was a bit poorly. So I'll come on to that. But first, here are the... That's the second time I've said first. Sure there's a logical breakdown there somewhere. But before I go on to discuss my poorliness, which I know you're all desperate to hear about in a lot of detail, here are the bits that I'd recorded for last week. Hello lovelies, it's Lesley. Not quite enough warmth in the end of my fingers. I think it's because I've just moved from one room to another. We've had sunny days here and now suddenly it's gone chilly, with the prospect of wind and rain and tempest and storm and no doubt plague of locusts or something. That's because it's a 4-day bank holiday weekend this weekend for the Easter break, so the weather will automatically turn rubbish. It's what we expect, it's okay. So what have we been up to? Well, firstly, thank you for your comments and thoughts on last week's vlog. I always love to hear from you, so thank you for that. Saturday was the Zoom call, the Flame and Fibre Zoomies, which was good fun, always is, good fun. And the rest of the weekend was sort of fairly quiet. Monday took Madam to the groomers, Tuesday took her to have some teeth extracted, so she's not the happiest of puppies at the moment. You'll see some before and after footage at the end of this vlog. You can see how much hair they take off each time. But she's okay actually. We thought she'd be much more sleepy, subdued following the dental surgery, but she's doing okay, so that is good. I haven't bought or acquired any more yarn this week. Thank goodness. Haven't done much knitting or crafting either. Bit of spinning every day as I watch Barbara's vlog, but yeah, it's been busy with work and I've had kind of evening appointments and that sort of thing, so not as much crafting done, but that's okay. It's not a race. So it's Wednesday as I record this, and this room is still chaos, although I did try and tidy it up a little bit earlier. I try and do a few minutes every day, but yeah. But apart from that, I'm gripping my hands. I need to go and find some fingerless mitts or something. Goodness knows I've made enough of them over the years. Yeah, just plodding on, quite busy with work, which is good. So just plodding on at the minute. Catch up with you later in the week. Cheers. So we were doing fine until about Thursday, and then I started to feel very uncomfortable. Discomfort around hips and back. There's an old war wound there that resulted from me moving furniture by myself in my 20s, so I have to be careful with my back. She said, sitting at the most peculiar angle, but it kind of felt a bit like that, not great. Then Friday morning, woke up, got up, had a shower, didn't feel great, but you try to go through the normal routine of the day. And I just felt dreadful. I felt nauseous, had a lot of pain in my lower abdomen. And so I went back to bed because laying down was the only way I could get comfortable. And I just slept and slept and slept. Apart from waking up to... Now I know that a lot of people don't like words relating to nausea and its effects. So I will call it involuntary expulsion. So apart from when I was involuntarily expelling, I was asleep. And at one point I took my laptop into the bedroom, put it on the bed, thinking I'll watch some of my podcasts. Didn't even turn it on. I just was absolutely exhausted. Himself brought me up a glass of water. I was kind of sipping of that when I could, but just didn't want anything. About 5 o'clock in the evening I came downstairs because I said I think I better come downstairs. I want to make sure I sleep tonight, so I want to be awake this evening. No, just slept on the sofa. So apart from a few breaks, I kind of slept for about 24 hours and still felt not great. The next day was beginning to feel better. Pain had reduced, nausea had certainly gone. And the next day was a bit better again. Good job it was a 4-day weekend this weekend. Then initially, on Monday, I felt well enough. I went to the supermarket, needed to get some bread, that kind of thing. But then the pain was starting to get bad again. And there's a service in the UK called 111, which is a phone line. You speak to a medical professional. And the idea is it's somewhere between your normal GP out of hours service. So if it is out of hours and it's difficult to get hold of a practitioner, you can speak to these people. If it's an absolute emergency, if you think you're having a heart attack or your leg's fallen off or something, then you go to A&E. It's a 999 situation. But 111 is I'm not quite sure, but I need to talk to someone about it type service. So I rang them and sort of went through my symptoms, and they said it would be best if I went to the hospital in the next couple of hours. So it's not A&E, but it's a kind of walk-in service type of thing. I then had a little bit of a meltdown. I don't want to go to the hospital, I'm so scared. I don't know what I was scared of. I think it was just a lot of stuff catching up with me. So himself and I went to the hospital. And, this is a bank holiday Monday. So I said to him, bring your puzzle book, I'm taking my knitting. Because we're going to be sitting there for a while. It wasn't too bad. We were back home in about 3 hours, which was pretty good, actually. So if you are unwell over the Easter bank holiday, I recommend Monday afternoon as one of the better times to go to the hospital. So the doctor I saw there thought it may be gallstones, but not quite convinced, and in fact suggested that I speak to my GP about getting an ultrasound to eliminate gallstones, basically to confirm that's not the problem. So they gave me some painkillers and sent me on my way. Back to work Tuesday, and you just kind of muddle on, don't you? You do what you can, but a lot of it's at kind of half pace. Also, over the weekend, I was hoping to clear a good solid day's work and didn't do any of that. So I've been sort of rushing to catch up with myself work-wise and just fighting fire a bit with just doing the most urgent stuff first. And initially I wasn't going to call my GP surgery on Tuesday because the day after a bank holiday weekend it's notoriously busy. The chance of getting an appointment is slim. But in the afternoon I thought, well, I'd better ring them and see what the process is, because I didn't know whether I would need to see a doctor, whether I would be able to have a phone consultation or what would happen. So I rang, spoke to the receptionist saying, look, this is the situation, just trying to understand the process. And she said, I'll ring 8 o'clock tomorrow morning to try and get an appointment. Fine. And then I got a call back almost immediately from the same receptionist saying, we've had a cancellation, can you come in this afternoon? Well, thank you very much, yes I can. So I went and saw a GP at our practice who said doesn't think it's gallstones, going to go ahead with the ultrasound and basically scan the whole abdomen just to make sure there isn't anything unpleasant going on. But he suspected, given where the pain was and the other symptoms, grumbling appendix. And that kind of makes sense because I had Googled a lot and appendix came up because of the position of the pain. So basically grumbling appendix, and it's a kind of keep an eye on it situation. I mean, they are going to do the ultrasound, so if there is anything untoward, that will be looked at and dealt with. But otherwise it's if you get bad pain again, go to A&E. But you might not. I mean, I was talking with my sister who, when she was 11, had a grumbling appendix and has never had one since in kind of 50 years. So hopefully it's a one-off and that'll be it. If it's not, we'll deal with it as it comes along. But it did absolutely wipe me out for a few days. I was exhausted. I still feel pretty fatigued now, and I still have times I'm sitting at a slightly peculiar angle because I'm still not entirely comfortable. Nothing like the pain and none of the other symptoms, the nausea, the involuntary expulsion. But there is still some pain kind of around back and hips and around the sort of abdominal area. So not quite right yet, but much, much better than I was. So that's my adventure. Also this week we've had a day that would have been my dad's birthday. So we all got together and we managed to combine it with useful things because there was some legal papers that we had to sign. So we managed to get an appointment at the solicitors. And we went and had a lunch in one of his favourite pubs. So, you know, it was a nice way to celebrate his birthday. But apart from that, it's been very low-key because I've been feeling very low-key. I did do a bit of crafting eventually. I finished my scarf, but that's blocking at the moment, so I'll show you that at the month-end podcast. But you may remember I had the magic ball the size of my head to make a granny square out of, or a granny rectangle. And it made this sort of lap blanket size, baby blanket size, I don't know. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with it. Probably be a donation of some description. Cat's home, something like that. There was some more of the purple, but I realised that the purple was all in very small bits that had been kind of wound together in a ball and not magic joined, and I was losing incentive. I also don't think there was enough of it to do another complete round, so I thought I would finish it where it is. So nice thick, it's an Aran weight yarn blanket, finished. One of the projects that I came into the new year with done, so that feels good. And it's about the only thing that does this week. But I shall stop moaning. I am very fortunate that it wasn't more serious. I'm very fortunate that I could be seen by people who could reassure me and give me painkillers and let me know what my next courses of action were. So, you know, there is a lot to be grateful for, and I am. The biggest thing for me at the moment is just kind of trying to keep on top of work. I have a lot of ceremonies next week, but actually the week I have a lot of ceremonies usually isn't too bad because I've not got the visits and the more time consuming aspects. So hopefully with a bit of work over the weekend, pacing myself accordingly, I'll be okay. And there are some fun things because I'm out Friday evening with some friends for a meal, so that's good. And my appetite is kind of coming back now, so I will hope to enjoy the meal. And then over the weekend I'll be doing a bit of work at a steady pace and sort of plodding on. So those were my adventures. So I hope that you're all well and don't have any parts of you grumbling because it's not fun. Take care of yourselves, everyone. Thanks very much, and I'll see you next week. Cheers. Bye-bye.